You had the privilege of shaking the hands of Yao Ming.
That's a big man.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the size.
That's a big man.
You know, I think you hardly reach his chest.
I mean, he cannot walk to the door, right?
Yeah, you can see from there.
He has to, no doubt. I mean, he's, I think, 2 meters 36 or something like this.
Yeah, he's 7 foot.
So you just
four,
reach to here.
5. Yes. So you were working as a chef in Israel at 27, 28?
27 maybe, yeah.
Now tell me, that was post-war Germany, 20 years after that. And as a German to work in Israel, you must have a courage of steel to go to Israel and work. How was it? How was it for a German after the Holocaust and everything, and to work in Israel? How was it?
I think the worst was only when you arrive in Israel, right, at the airport, because I had done this mafia beard, right, and then I look like maybe like a Palestinian or whatever. So whenever I know it, right, whenever I go there, right away singled out, and then they check everything, right. But okay, you get, you do it a bit of fun, right? But working in Israel itself, yeah, it's okay. It's no problem. The thing is, my experience is, wherever I have worked, in all the countries, the people are always nice and good. The majority of people are nice, good, friendly, helpful. You have one or two or a bad moment, right? But otherwise, if you are not stupid, I think we had a good time there.
So in this picture, we can see that you are happily working as a chef. Where is this?
This is back in Germany.
Oh, this is back in Germany.
Yeah.
You're the guy with the mafia beard in the middle, right?
Yeah.
That's why you got singled out every time.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about this. You had the privilege to work with the great Paul Bocuse, who is the Gordon Ramsay of today in the 60s and 70s. Now, what was it like to work with the world's best chef?
Well, look, this at the time, in the 70s, this was the chef, the chef.
The chef.
The chef. I mean, his restaurant is in Lyon. I mean, it's 3-4 months fully booked in advance. People will come with their helicopters in. Right? And to go there, actually, I only could go there because my mentor had a friend who knows Paul Bocuse personally, and through this I could go there and work. So he brought me there. So I was there only sent for 6 months to learn and get his CV, get the things that I have been with Paul Bocuse. Right? At the time, we don't get paid. I didn't get paid. Right? So just get accommodation and food, and working every day. The minimum is 14 hours. Minimum.
Okay, working under Paul Bocuse, the world's top chef at the time, the minimum working hours was 14
minimum,
hours.
Minimum.
So there were no labor law or nothing. And you don't get paid for that.
No.
Why did you take the job?
Well, it's because the reputation Paul Bocuse has, right? And of course, if anybody could say, look, I work for Paul Bocuse, it helps you in your career, right? And I know there were people there. I mean, they worked there for 2 years for no money. Of course, they come from rich families at home. They have their own hotels or restaurants, and they're just sent there to gain experience, right? And I mean, the way how he cooked at the time, it is just amazing. You have the best ingredients, whatever. He only used the best. And if a guest would make any comment about the food, or I did once make a spinach with the things, and the guest said maybe a little bit salty. That was a huge complaint.
So
the chef, the executive chef then, Paul Bocuse, he could be very rough.
So he is meticulous about quality.
Oh, there is any comment which is not positive on the food, is a complaint.
So tell me about the guy, Paul Bocuse. This guy, he's been the #1 chef for a long time in the world. Tell us about a bit of him, your experience with Paul.
Well, look, we didn't deal personally with him, right? I mean, he is just around in the restaurant. He wouldn't be in the kitchen anymore, right?
Okay.
He has his team there. He's an executive chef, right? And he would basically be with the customers, right? Goes around, he would make the menu or the new creations, which they have worked out in a separate kitchen, and then it has to be perfect. And that's why you put lots of efforts in. Yeah? That's why you start early, 8 o'clock every morning until 4 in the afternoon, and then 6 o'clock until 1, 2. Right? Because after work, you still have to polish the pots and pans. You have to clean up the kitchen. It's all done by yourself. Right? So yeah, why going there? It's really because of the reputation, and to gain this experience, having worked with one of the top class chefs.
So it does build you, right, as
Yeah.
a top chef as
Oh, yeah,
well.
sure.
So now from there, then you move on to Asia.
No, I was then working in Germany with my mentor actually, and but I'm getting very fast bored, no?
Mm.
So I was then the executive chef for one of the biggest holiday inn at the time in Germany. And then I got itchy, and I told my boss, look, I want to move on. Actually, I want to go back to South Africa. Then he said, well, maybe look, why don't change your management? Right? So I thought, good idea. Yeah, and then he made me food and beverage manager, and that's where I started to go into management. So from there, I was sent to Nigeria. I worked in Lagos, right?
You were working around Africa, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You were working around. You were in Nigeria and Lagos.
Yeah. So Lagos is a tough place, right? Where you really cannot go out on your own in the night. You always have to go out in groups and all this, right? But that was tough, yeah.
Mm.
But also fun. No? I mean, the thing is, yeah, I say we still have fun. I always have fun when I work, right?
True.
And I believe, if you have fun working, everything goes easy, right? And people like to work with you.
So after a few years in Lagos, around Africa.
No, I've been only there for a couple, only a year, maybe less than a year. Then I come back to my boss, and I worked as food and beverage manager in Munich. And then I gonna get itchy.
You were looking for challenge.
Yeah, so and I found a new job, which was in Kenya. But I never went there because I met the vice president from Asia.
Mm.
He came to our hotel and stayed there, and I said, yes, I want to move on. I want to go to Kenya. And he said, forget it, come to Asia, no? So I said, okay. I sent him my CV, and 2 weeks later I got a job in Singapore.
So that makes you here. You're in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
And you fall in love, right?
Yeah.
And look at that, Roland and Linda.
I met my wife in Singapore.
Tell us the story.
Beautiful girl.
Of course. Of course she's a beautiful girl. Say something to your wife.
Yeah, I met her. She was just working opposite our hotel in Scots Road.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and in the evening we always went there over to the Mövenpick to have our drink. And yeah, that's where we met.
That was a love story, right? It was love at first sight.
Yeah, you have to fight for it.
Okay. So Linda, you heard that? He did all the fighting for you. So basically from there you got married, to
Yeah.
Linda. Then you had a chance to move to Kuching.
Well, I went there from there. I was 3 years in Singapore, and then I was promoted to RM, resident manager in Kuching. So I went
My
to
hometown.
Kuching. Yeah.
Kuching is my hometown, yes. Holiday in Kuching is still
Yeah.
there.
Nice. So
Yes.
it was a very nice, relaxing place,
Mhm.
right? So I was there for I think 1 year, 9 months, and then I get the offer to go to China.
So, of all places of China, the one place that you chose to go, or they sent you to go, and you say yes to it, is Urumqi.
Yeah.
Now, in the 1990s, China was just starting, and Urumqi is like the ends of China, right? It's right at Xinjiang.
yeah.
You know, whether they have proper toilets and all that, I don't think they have at that time.
No.
Now, tell us, why did you take the job to Urumqi?
Well, again, 2 reasons. The first reason is everybody tells me don't go, right? Because you will lose your job very fast. I mean, I went to this Urumqi, and the hotel was not open, and I was ready to serve GM. And the second reason is promotion to GM. So this was my first GM position in Urumqi.
General manager.
Mm.
So you were the boss of Holiday Inn, no, of IHG or Holiday Inn?
At the time, it was still Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn.
IHG came later in, right?
Yes.
So, but anyway, going to Urumqi, which is really the wild, wild east, right? But surviving Urumqi, afterwards everything is easy.
So tell me about how do you actually work, you know, as a expatriate, a white man in the 90s, early 90s, to work in Urumqi, bringing your young wife, your beautiful young wife, your young children. How was it? You know, from the previous conversation I heard from you that you have to work a certain way in China at that point to actually go by, right? So you, as a GM of Holiday, you get some special privilege in, the customs and all that.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at the working in China, right? It's especially at this time. I mean, for many people, they couldn't take it, right? Or many people just didn't make it. Or the owners just throw them out, right? Because they cannot adjust to the life, or it is not the way how it is back home, right? So, look, I feel if you move around in countries and you work in different countries, you have to adapt to the custom, to the life where they are. If you cannot do it, you cannot move.
Mm-hmm.
I could work anywhere, I think, in the world. I would have no problem. But Urumqi at the time, yeah, it was really the wild, wild east. Right? It was tough. From the owner side, also one part was very difficult. But all what's going on there in life, no? We have everything, no? From almost murder to fire to anything you can imagine. Fights every month, big ones. That was the wild, wild east.
So, but Urumqi gave you the golden key
Yeah.
to work in every other part of China, right?
Yeah. I would say Urumqi was a good learning.
It was a good learning. You were
good
a young GM.
And the other thing is what I think what worked for me very, very well. I started to make my own reputation by being able to handle difficult situations or difficult projects.
So Urumqi gives you an opportunity to make a name for yourself in the hotel industry. You became
It's the beginning.
the guy at the beginning. Yes, it's the
It's the
beginning.
beginning. But a few years later, people come ask for you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't apply. That's a good sign.
So you have hosted many people in your hotel throughout your life. So one of them is this guy. This is Li Keqiang.
Yeah.
Li Keqiang is the China vice premier, and he has gone to be the number 2 mayor of China.
Yeah.
Tell me your experience shaking his hands.
Yeah, look, this was before the Olympics, right? So a lot of people coming at this time, right? I mean, that was the best time, huh? And I mean, he was then not that powerful as he is now, right? But yeah, we have met quite a number of people, right? And of course, you just shake the hand and you have a few words with him, and then he moves on to his business, right?
Tell about this guy.
Yeah, that's
You had the privilege of shaking the hands of Yao Ming.
that's a big man.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the size.
That's a big man.
You know, I think you hardly reach his chest.
I mean, he cannot walk through the door, right?
Yeah,
With
you
the
can see from
revolving
there.
door. He has to, no doubt. I mean, he's, I think, 2 meters 36 or something like this.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
7 foot.
So you just
4 or
reach to
7 foot
here.
5. Yes. Was he a nice person?
Yeah, I mean, they're all fine. They're all nice,
Yeah.
right? I mean, no matter what you have, people, they're all nice.
I have a picture of Yao Ming, but it was a selfie picture where I took in Shanghai. He so happened was at a hotel, and I took this way, you know, without him looking, you know. that was about it, you know. That was fun.
Yeah, we were on the stage, right, with him.
Yeah.
The whole group. It goes like this.
Yao Ming is Yao Ming, right? Now, then, after so many years from South Africa, you have the privilege of meeting F.W. de Klerk,
Yeah.
who is the president of South Africa that abolished the apartheid system.
Yeah.
How was your sorry, let me just edit that, huh? So, okay. Now, how was your experience with him? You know, you lived in the white apartheid before, and when you met him, how did you feel? You know.
Right, look, de Klerk, of course, I mean, he is the man who ended apartheid, right? So his relationship is very, you know, he did something great for the country, right? And then also, you know, the day where he declared that South Africa is no longer apartheid, when he declared it, his wife was shot at home.
Oh my God! You mean when he declared abandoning of South apartheid in the parliament, his wife was shot at home that night.
It's the same time.
That is like a huge sacrifice
Yeah.
for the man who wants to do something right.
So he is obviously a very open man, right? Sees things differently, and does the right thing, right? And even if you sit down with him and talk to him, he's very fun, full of jokes, right?
Mhm.
It's a very nice man.
So I can see you at that point. Let me just go back there. So I can see you with that point, and he is actually quite elderly at that point,
Yeah.
right? When you saw him
Yeah,
in China.
yeah. I think he's
So he was
already
visiting.
in the mid-80s or early
In the mid-80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure you have full of respect and admiration for this person.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a
Absolutely
great
right.
man.
He's the guy that ended apartheid and freed Mandela.
Yeah,
So
he's a great man.
yeah, so that is amazing story. So tell us about this. And you were shaking hands with Jacques Rogue.
Jacques Rocky,
Yeah.
right? He is the IOC president. I mean, that was also before the Olympics. What I said, our hotel in Beijing is 500 meters to the bird's nest away, right?
Yes.
So all these Olympic committee members, a lot of them, I mean, they come and go, right? Before the Olympics,
Yeah.
before the Olympics starts, right?
So I was living in IHG once when I was in Beijing. Just living, just
Yeah, yeah.
opposite the bird nest. Yeah.
Ah,
It was a nice hotel.
it's not,
Of course it's a nice hotel.
It's cozy.
It's very nice.
It's a very cozy hotel.
Yeah, expensive.
No, not so expensive.
You know, Then this is Marlene. You know, you hosted Marlene. This is the
Yeah.
national. This is the table tennis world champion, Marlene.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of these people came during this time, no? Right?
True.
Invited by governments or by sports events, etc.
Now, tell us about this guy you met in your hotel. This is Ang Lee.
Mm.
How
Well,
was your encounter with him? You know, was he a nice person to talk to?
yeah, I mean, he is a nice person, right? And I mean, look, you talk 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then it's gone, right? But what would I say? All these VIPs, no? I mean, they're nice people, right? And you just change a few words, right?
True. Now, so this is another guy, Van Verbruggen.
Heinz Verbruggen.
Hein Verbruggen,
Yeah.
sorry. I couldn't pronounce it properly. Hein Verbruggen. He's Belgium? Or
No, he is a Dutchman.
he's a Dutch,
He's a
okay.
Dutchman.
The
right?
vice president for IOC.
Yeah, he is for the. His background, he comes for the bicycle
Yeah.
racing.
So you were saying is that throughout your life hosting all these VVIP and VVVIPs, presidents of nations and all that, what was your one, if you can just just summarize it in say one sentence, how would you describe these people who are very powerful at their time, and when you met them, how would you describe them?
Well, all the people you meet, as powerful people, are basically nice and friendly. What makes it difficult are the second tier.
Let's go back. So you're saying the second tier?
Yes, all the top VIPs are nice. There is never any problem. But the second tier, or the people who are making the arrangements, right? Because they want to excel, they want to show how good they are and taking care for them, right? These are the troublemakers.
So what you're saying, the VIPs are always nice,
Yeah, all right,
their entourage is the problem.
nice.
Yeah, the secretaries are the,
Yeah, yeah.
and their head of security are the problems.
These are the
You know. Now, you witnessed the rise of modern China, you know, as an expat. From your eyes, in the 1990s of Urumqi, right down to last year when you retired from IHG Group as Directors of Operations in Shanghai, can you give us a short explanation? How did you experience the rise of China, and how did you see it?
Well, very easy to say, right? When we came to China, when I came to China, we were always a king in a grape city. When I left China, we were grape in a king city.
So when you're saying, when in the beginning you were the king,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, in a what they call it, grape city.
In a grape city.
Yeah. Then
When I left, we were opposite.
it is opposite. Yeah.
I mean, look
True.
at in Urumqi, for example, right? We were the first international hotel. So, you know anybody. You know the chief PSB man. You know the governor. You know,
Yeah.
you know from the airport. No? From the airport, the manager I know. Anything I have a problem, I just call the Mr. Wang. Who was called Mr. Wang. He said, don't worry, problem solved. Right? And the airport, right? When we go to the airport, two security guards come, take the luggage, check the passport, check in. We were sitting in the waiting room, 20 minus, freezing to death. Then finally they check in. They said, no, you wait. Right? And then afterwards, bring us to a car, drive us to the aircraft, right? So this kind of treatment you had, right?
When you were in Urumqi.
Yeah, at the beginning. Today, of course, this is gone.
True. How did you see when China's rise slowly, the 26 years you were in China, you saw them from being a third world country right now so close of being a what do you call this, advanced, rich country. What was the changes in the human element in China?
Well, let's say that from the technology point, right? Because at the beginning, nothing there, right? But whatever they have done is the latest technology, right? Today they are far ahead to other countries in technology,
Yeah.
right? Far ahead.
Very far ahead.
Because everything is just always the latest and the best, right? From the people side, I love to work in China actually, right? Because the people are hardworking, eager to learn, hardly a problem, right? They're honest, right? So from this point of view, it's really, I enjoyed working in China. I think China was one of the best time I had. I was 26 years in China, right? And I have worked in, I think, in 10 cities, right?
Yeah.
Around China, right? And it was, everywhere I go, it was good, right?
Now, of all countries that we have worked, lived, and experienced the best experience in your life, why did you choose to retire in Malaysia?
Well, look, what I said, I have my family here, right? We bought our home here a long time ago, which was always our base. And actually the plan was actually after I stopped working to retire here. It was always my plan, right? So Malaysia is a great country, right? It's good to live in, right? It's,
peaceful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's reasonable, right? It's a great country.
You know, in one sentence, what advice can you give the younger you?
Well, one sentence maybe not enough, or maybe two or three.
Okay, it's okay. 2 or 3 is fine.
The thing is, look, the time is very tough, right? But I think we have to stay positive and look for new opportunities which are coming up. For the people who are working, who go to work, treat your work like your own business. If you treat your work as your own business, people will realize you take care. And if you are hiring people, hire only the best who take care for your business. Then your life will be.
So, one advice for the young people is that if you're working for people, take care of your work like your own business.
Like your own business.
You heard from the man. That is one great advice, you know, and that will bring you somewhere, right, in life.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you do your job right, if somebody sees you take care for them, why should you have something negative?
So my last question for you, Roland, will you live, if you get the chance to live your life again, go back to when you're 14, what changes will you make?
Well, I think I would put more efforts in my early education, right? Because I had to do everything during a time, right? Because my education at the time was nothing compared to today, right? But I believe with a better education I could have done more, right? So yeah, I would put more efforts in education. I would still look for a job I can move around and do, right? There's two things.
You will marry the same wife?
I would marry the same wife.
Of course. Linda, you heard it. He will marry the same wife again and again, okay?